intelligent black people. And so, everybody who's black and intelligent, please join the conversation. We always have a good discussion for you. And today, we get the opportunity to enjoy what we refer to as Powernomics Thursday. This is when you get the real deal. You get real perspectives that you don't see in mainstream media very often. We have the one and only Dr. Claud Anderson here joining us today, and I want to ask Dr. Anderson, how you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm getting a little better health-wise. As I said, it's a slow progress. Trying to get back to my big state. I used to be a healthy as a bull. Even that's when they used to call me a young tiger. Now with all these now with all these health problems and old ladies, now they call me, I guess, an old jackass. So I'm going from one to the other.
Well, maybe before you was a young jackass, huh? But that's all right. That's what great men are made of. You're one of the greatest. And so everybody who's coming in, please hit the thumbs up button and please express your appreciation to Dr. Anderson. And I'm gonna start off just by saying how much people appreciate your interview on the Breakfast Club. You did a great job on that show. You look young as a bull that day, and I tell you, I was super impressed. I was so happy to see you on there. How did it feel to finally come on that show?
Oh well, I had some hesitance, but I went on, and but I was pleasantly surprised. Both the hosts, the two hosts, black hosts there, they were
Hmm.
magnificent. They were extremely cordial, respectful, and they were very cooperative in whatever we want to talk about. And then in the final conclusion, they also asked me, "Why don't you come back? Why don't you come back again?" So I thoroughly enjoyed the Breakfast Club and the two hosts that were serving there.
Mm.
One was called was Charlemagne,
Yep.
and I think that was DJ something, wasn't it?
D,
DJ,
yeah, DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God.
right? And both of them were magnificent. And I was just they totally impressed me because I had some questions about going on, and but I was extremely surprised and pleasantly and pleased with the turnout, the reception they gave me. Plus that typically they let you go stay on for about 15 to 20 minutes. I stayed there for well over an hour, almost an hour and eight. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Wow. Well, I actually found this picture of you on there, looking young, like a young bull. Just
Oh,
looking as cool as a rapper. And I love that image, man. I love the fact that you were connecting with the young people because I don't know. Give me a yes or no in the chat, you guys, if you agree with this statement. But I believe that Dr. Claude Anderson coming on the Breakfast Club was making Black history. Give me a yes or no if you agree with that assessment. I believe that you, Dr. Anderson, going on that show was one of the most historic events in recent or maybe even distant Black history. Because I know that you're a Black history maker, and a lot of the universities that are supposedly teaching young Black people that are not teaching powernomics, for some reason, they're just not giving. Basically history is gonna judge them poorly. I believe that powernomics principles are what's gonna lead Black people out of the abyss. Working for white folks ain't gonna do it. And powernomics is something everybody needs to hear. And I think that you changed a lot of lives. Do you feel that way, and have you seen any response from the interview?
oh man, see, that's probably why I'm so tired and worn out, beat up now. I guess in less than 2 days they aired that thing. It's going close to 500,000 views in less than 2 days, and they were saying it's gonna go over 1 million. So I said, Jesus Christ! And somebody showed me a printout on all the comments, and 99% of them were positive. There were a couple of people on there that made negative comments. About two. I saw about two or three out of the thousand of them. And it's either somebody who belongs to some of these, either Sambos or somebody belongs to some of these people who are demonstrating inappropriate behavior patterns and sex matters. They made a couple of negative comments, but I can give a damn less about that. But but anyway, but 99% of all the comments were positive. But the sadness about it was that the corporation, Powernomics Book Company, they were so overwhelmed. They've been up day and night now for 2 days, just trying to respond to the damn books orders. The book orders. I mean, book orders have been so amazing. I can't even tell you. All of them, and I'm buying the Power Pack too, the library pack. They're buying that library pack, all 5 books, and all I'm saying, man, we're gonna have our own library. We're gonna follow these things. We're not going for the okie doke anymore. We don't need to go learn history from through a white eye anymore. And so I mean, so they called me every day, last night, yesterday, and all night. Stayed up all night trying to get these library packs out. And I said, good God. And I said, I don't ever want to hear anyone say something bad about black folk. Black folk always come to my aid. Now, when I say black folk, I'm talking about a segment of the black community. It's most of the poor blacks and everyday blacks. They have been supportive of everything I ever done for 60 years in politics nationally. Somebody said, well, I'm a rich black, wealthy blacks. I say a wealthy black and a wealthy white person has never given me 1 penny of support. Never. And I spent all my money, trying to fight for black folk in different lawsuits and stuff I filed all over the country. And but it's the average black and the poor blacks that always buy my books and read them. And I try to be the best leader I can for them, the best manager in terms of race matters, guide them to solutions. And so they've exercised a magnificent turnout. I mean, Boris, I couldn't tell you how many. Let's see, it must be in library packs. That's 5 books in a pack. Hell, they must set out 200 or 300 or 400 of them already. Packs with 5 in each pack.
Ooh.
And Amazon even ordering not just individual books. They're ordering something like a pallet, and then the pallet, there's 45 pallets, and each one of those pallets got 24 or 30 books in it.
Wow.
So I appreciate black folk, and I told people all my life in politics, I never would have made it if it hadn't been for the average black. And someday, these average blacks are going to catch up with these provocateurs that always got something negative. You're going to try to represent black folk, they always going to try to come out with something negative to say about you. Even though 9 times out of 10 it's bullshit, they do it anyway because white folk put them up to it. So I tell black folk, watch out for those. You catch one like that, put his ass on a trailway and run it, put his ass out of town. That's what happened back in New York back in the 1960s. You know James Burns down in Mississippi?
Yeah.
White folks sent him up to New York to run against Adam Clayton Powell. And the blacks folk, as soon as he checked into his home up there, blacks went over to and knocked on his front door. I told them, so we heard you up here to run against Adam Clayton Powell. They said, we got to tell you something. They said, in our hand, we got an envelope here. It's a ticket back to where you came from. And it's set for 2 days from now. I said, please don't miss that plane. If you do, you'll be very sorry. I want black folks to start learning to hold people accountable for things they do, particularly when they find somebody that's trying to help their race. And I tell people right now, Dr. they said this about you. I said, you pick up the Black History Reader and go to the appendix, and you'll see some of the things I've done for black folk in measurable, tangible terms. I tell black folk all the time, if you find any other black in the history of this nation that can go to those 4 pages and look at the things I've done for black folk in measurable terms. I'm not talking about symbolic shit like walking down the damn road singing "We Shall Overcome Someday." Tangible things, measurable things. Look at those things. If you found any black that's equal in producing and accomplishing those things, I'll listen. If they don't, you tell them to keep the damn mouth shut about me.
Well, first of all, I want to tell everybody who I'm talking to. I'm speaking with Dr. Claud Anderson. He's the author of the books Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, Dirty Little Secrets, the Black History Reader, etc. And his website is powernomics.com. That's powernomics.com. And I want to lay something out for you guys. I want you guys to first of all hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it. Please hit the thumbs up button. But I want to kind of lay out an argument for you guys real quick, and I hope that you will understand this. We have people that don't really want to see any black person make any money. They don't want to see any of our 1.3 trillion go into the hands of any black business or black people. They don't want to see black people do well. So they'll look at a Dr. Anderson and say, oh, he's selling his books. He's trying to make money for himself. But I want you to kind of just stop for a second and just process the fact that there are many, many corporations that are run by white folks who don't even like you, who are making millions and billions and billions of dollars off of the black community, that are becoming billionaires off of the black community. The first person who created Louis Vuitton and Gucci and I think it was Courvoisier or something like that, he's now worth over $100 billion. Popeye's Chicken probably clocked at least $100 million off of the chicken sandwich special. When Disney put out the Black Panther, they made over $1 billion from the black community. Nike just put out a new sneaker with Colin Kaepernick's name on it. They made tens of millions of dollars off of that. So if Nike can make tens of millions of dollars off the black community, why shouldn't Dr. Claud Anderson be able to make at least twice as much?
Dr. Wise, I wish that were true. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, Powernomics Corporation, see, I have never got paid a salary. Make sure they're clear on that and understand that. On the Harvest Institute, that's 27 years old, I have never drawn a salary, a penny. And that's why I'm one of the poorest blacks in the country, even though I had all kind of opportunities to get meritorious manumission by staying away from black folk and cease and desist trying to critically analyze their conditions and give them historical justification for why they should be trying to be competitive people and giving them solutions and strategies. I don't care whether I was with presidents, governors, or anything, I've never been paid for anything. Now, it would be nice, I look forward to it, and I hope the Powernomics Corporation sells millions of books to black folk. And people ask me, said, Dr. Anderson, the best way to explain that? There was a guy named Reverend Ike years ago. You don't remember him, do you?
I know about him though. I never heard him speak, but I've referenced him. I've read up on him a little bit.
Right. Well, he was doing extremely well, and he would have large turnouts at his events preaching, and about halfway through his program, he would always send out people going around through the stadium with baskets and bags collecting money, get donations. And finally, one day, a guy asked him on TV, he said, Reverend Ike, he said, I'm very concerned about what you're doing. He said, you call out these people, these black folk had these massive turnouts, hundreds of thousands, 50,000 blacks turn out. You pass around baskets collecting money. And he said, well, I want to know one thing. What in the hell are you doing for poor people? You know what Reverend Ike said?
What?
Like hell not to be one.
Well, let me say this, Dr. Anderson. I'm gonna say, God bless Reverend Ike. I respect what he did, but when I look at Powernomics, I see it as being a little bit a different kind of a message in the sense that, if I buy a book, I bought all your books, and I can never pay you enough for what your books have done for me. I could give you $100,000 and I still wouldn't have paid even a fraction of the debt because of what it does in terms of elevating my potential. I think with pastors, I think the challenge people have with pastors is, and I think pastors deserve to get a salary too. I mean, if anybody who does a service for you should get paid. I mean, we'll pay a comedian to tell us jokes. We'll pay a singer to sing us songs. We'll pay a rapper to rap. We'll pay an actor to be in a movie. Why would we not pay our spiritual advisor if that person's helping us in some way? So I don't have no problem with pastors getting a salary, but I think for you, I think you're a step above that because, because I'm not just getting a message of salvation from you. I'm getting a message that gives me a blueprint for liberation that can open me up to other great possibilities in my life. Do you see what I mean? So the Powernomics book, in my mind, it's free because when you are investing, that is not the same as spending. Like when I got this basement done in my house, we spent $50,000 upgrading the basement, but we really didn't spend anything. Why is that? Well, because now the value of the house has gone up $80,000. So I didn't spend any money. I made $30,000 by making a decision. So I think people, one of the great things about this channel, is that the people here understand the difference between spending and an investment. So if somebody goes, so I want you guys to just answer this question consciously so you can kind of process this. Which is going to do more value in your life? Buying a book like Powernomics or buying some Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Both of them cost money, right? Both black folks, some black folks will buy one, some black folks will buy the other. More black folks will buy a chicken sandwich then they'll buy your book. But which is going to do better for you? Which is going to help your life more? A Powernomics book or a chicken dinner at Popeyes? Because last time I checked the Powernomics books, one individual book is a little bit less than $30, something like that. You can go out to dinner and spend $30, but which is going to help your life more, the books or the chicken? And I think people just got to understand that difference to know the difference between spending and an investment. And I think that when I make the appeal for your books, I have no problem telling people, go buy these books. Make sure your kids get introduced to Dr. Anderson before they get introduced to all this other nonsense. I have no problem making this pitch for two reasons. One, because I know that we spend a lot of money making white folks rich, including white folks who care nothing about us. It's been proven that you care about us, so I want to make you rich before I make any of them rich. Number two, we know that our kids go to school, they learn how to worship slave masters. They worship in George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Ben Franklin, and all these other white supremacists, and they know nothing about people like yourself, Marcus Garvey, things like that. I'm simply making the basic argument, and tell me, give me a yes or no if y'all agree with me. Say something in the chat. My argument is real basic. Your kids should know about Dr. Claud Anderson before they know about Ben Franklin or George Washington or somebody who is insignificant in their life as a black person. Can we agree on that? Give me a yes in the chat if we can at least agree on that very basic idea. So let's go into this, Dr. Anderson. Did you have anything to say in response to that?
Well, the biggest thing I said that the reason I would encourage black folk to get into group economics is because I have a very basic philosophy in Powernomics principles, which says poor people cannot help poor people. That's where the civil rights movement and all these so-called quasi-liberals took the wrong path. See, all of our civil rights leaders thought that somehow that they could help black folk by making them feel good, even though they were poor. And I said, no, I don't. If I'm in a ditch, poverty ditch, I don't want you to make me feel good in the ditch. I want you to go get some resources, wealth, and power, and come and get me out of it. That's what I want black folk to do. And a poor person cannot help a poor person. Our problem right now with the few blacks we have that have become wealthy, there's a disconnect between a wealthy black and the poor blacks and the median and average black. There's no connection between. The same thing is true in politics. I told you once before, I did a study in 1960 on politics and the connection between that and the masses of blacks in the country. And did I ever tell you about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I use the social discomfort indicators like welfare, food stamps, public housing, criminality, dysfunctional schools, dysfunctional family. At that time we had about 103 black elected officials in the entire United States in 1960, right on the edge of the civil rights movement. We had only 103 black elected officials in the entire United States, Dr. Watkins. And I looked at the discomfort indicators of what black folk were in at that time. So then I waited until about 1990, 30 years. And so I'm gonna do the same discomfort survey to find out how blacks have progressed. Because by 1990, guess what had happened? We had blacks elected officials in the United States had increased by over 9,000%. We've gone from 100 black elected officials up to 9,000. I said, good God. And black folks should be doing extremely well now. But when I did the discomfort indicator study, guess what? Black folk didn't progress, they went backwards. It went backwards because there's no connection between putting a black person in the public office and getting benefits. Because the black person gets in the public office, he wants to make clear here that he's staying far away from black folk as he can because he's seeking meritorious manumission. He doesn't want to be affiliated with black folk. He wants to get white acceptance and white approval. And that's why right now, putting a black person into elected office, you asked about candidates for the presidency, until one promised me in a contractual basis exactly what he's going to do for black folk, and I'm going to tell him I'll hold his ass accountable. Tell me what you're going to do for black folk, you'll never get my vote again. I've been a Democrat all my life until I quit about 5 or 10 years ago. I don't want to play that game anymore. If you want my vote, my family vote, my friends vote, and any of my black supporters vote in this country, I tell the power structure today. I'll tell the Democratic Party today. I'll tell Republicans in the United States today that if you want the black vote, and I got anything to do with it, you better come out with something very strong and say, here's what black folk are going to get for their vote. And we're not concerned about the damn candidate. We're concerned about what they're going to get for their vote. They ain't going to get a damn thing, we ain't going to vote. And we're going to demand certain things. And I got a whole list of things I want black folks to start demanding. But see, the same thing should be applied to these wealthy blacks. You got wealthy blacks that got all kind of money, but they are so self-centered and egotistical. There's no connection between a wealthy black and the masses of blacks. They do a lot of symbolic stuff, but it doesn't go to the heart of the issue. The issue is, what are you going to do to reverse the maldistribution of resources in this country that came out as a direct result of 360 years of slavery, another 100 years of semi-slavery, and another 50 years of benign neglect. What are you going to do for black folk? And right now in America, we got 38% of all the black people in America right now beneath the poverty line. Did you know that?
No, 38%.
Poverty line. And you got 34 to 35% of all the black children in the United States are beneath the poverty line. And the contrary to what you hear on the TV about our unemployment rate about only being about double white folks, which means about 6%, our unemployment rate is now in certain cities exceeds that 10 times. Our unemployment rate, for instance, in Baltimore is 48%, 48% in Detroit, 49% in Pittsburgh, almost 51% in New York. About 86% of all the black youth in America can't even find a damn job. But no candidates talked about these issues. None of them talk about it. Nobody talks about the wealth disparities in this country between whites and blacks, and it's getting the wealth gap is expanding. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. And right, if I go to major cities like Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, and some of those cities, that 50% of all the black kids that start elementary school, first grade, can't even graduate from high school. 50% drop out before they get through high school, Dr. Watkins. Now that 50% that drop out, they're reading at about a 4th or 5th grade damn level. What are the candidates talking about to run for office? What are the rich black folks thinking about? Why don't they do like the Jews and say, we play as a team? And Jews say, we're going to take over certain industries, and we're going to line, and we're going to stack our businesses up vertically in it. The Jews say, we're going to control Hollywood. We're going to control the publishing industry. We're going to control the garment industry, the jewelry industry, the legal industries. And then we're going to make sure that every Jew has a chance to get in that industry and make some money. Make some money. But see, I don't do that. They want to try pull up the game plan. I got a contract for $100 million a year for shooting for soccer. So now I'm through with black folk. There's no connection with it. In other words, what I'm saying, whether it's for wealth or political prominence, there's no connection between that and the black masses, either with the money or with the wealth.
All right, everybody. I'm talking to Dr. Claud Anderson. He's the author of the books Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, The Black History Reader, and Dirty Little Secrets 1 and 2. His website is powernomics.com. That's powernomics.com. I want to say hello to everybody on the Black Financial channel as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, we are growing a Black-owned financial channel, kind of a little bit like Bloomberg, except better. A little bit like Black Enterprise, except better. No disrespect to Black Enterprise. We love them, but we have our own style. And so if you want to subscribe, make sure you subscribe at theblackfinancialchannel.com, THE, that's theblackfinancialchannel.com. So Dr. Anderson, let me ask you about this. This week, while you did the Breakfast Club, I called myself in an interesting little hornet's nest, but you guys know I tell the truth wherever I go. And but I wanted to come to the Godfather to get some perspective on this. Give me a yes or no if you guys followed any of this stuff with this singer Lizzo. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you followed any of the interesting. It was a little bit of a controversy, Lizzo, Dr. Anderson. In case you haven't had a chance to kind of follow up on some of this pop culture stuff, Lizzo is the people at the Breakfast Club. I'm sure they know exactly who Lizzo is. In fact, I would imagine Lizzo has been on the Breakfast Club before. Lizzo is a pretty big black woman. I would say she's obese, morbidly obese, and she brags about it. So it's not an insult to say she's obese. She brags about the fact she enjoys being the big girl and everything else. She's also some would say a little bit raunchy. Some would say that she, like for example, she went to a Lakers game and she showed up wearing a dress with her butt out. And this is one picture of Lizzo right there. In terms of just sort of seeing what she is, and she kind of comes out seductively dressed, and people really love it. A lot of white folks love it. Some black folks love it, but a lot of black folks are irritated with it. And I did a survey, Dr. Anderson. I asked the people on the channel. I said, do you think that the image of Lizzo is good, helps or hurts the black community? And the majority of the people that responded said that she hurts the black community. And in fact, I think one of the biggest kickers that really, really upset a lot of people was this. And I'm gonna show you this image, Dr. Anderson, just to brief you on it. And those of you who don't know what's going on, you're being briefed right now. But here's an image where Lizzo came to a Lakers game and she was wearing a dress. You see how the butt sticking out, and they all put the camera on. So she started twerking, and she twerked. So she'll do these things that that I felt were a little bit like a minstrel show. And people thought that I was attacking her, and I wasn't actually attacking her. I was really talking about white supremacy and why white supremacy tends to elevate black people, when they fulfill a stereotype. In fact, I think the rapper David Banner, who's a really smart guy, he made a good point where he said he was in hip hop for a long time. He still is, and he said that typically white people will pay you if you were either fulfilling a stereotype or something else. I think he said if you're fulfilling a stereotype or you basically engaged in another word for coonery. I can't remember what exact terminology he used, but that's when white folks pay you. So I'd like if you could, since you know the history, you know where the bodies are buried in terms of how America got to be what it is. Can you give kind of that history of the minstrel show and why black entertainers behave the way they do in order to make white folks happy?
That's a long topic, but to answer, that goes all the way back to, I guess, to slavery. White folk always felt that the safest black that they could have is any black that's entertaining. That's the first thing. White folk love for you to entertain them. And in their mind, a black who's entertaining them, I don't care whether it's in sports or any form of entertainment, that he is 20 times safer than a damn birth control pill. You can't get any safer than that.
Wow.
And that's what they want. That comes out of slavery. When the plantations were running in the southern states, white folk always on a Saturday night would call all their slaves around the mansion. I told you this before, just to entertain slave owners. And the white slave master, and his wife and his family come and sit on the front porch and drink iced tea, lemonade, and they invite their slaves up. They invite their slaves up to the mansion, and they had a process called burning off their energy, burning it off, because they wanted the black to divest himself of all energies. They wouldn't be thinking about revolting or doing anything terrible. They want to wear his ass out. So all those blacks could entertain on a Saturday night. And the whites they had things like whites would give them a glass of lemonade or iced tea or something like that. But they had athletics doing head-button contests. You ever heard of head-button contests? Where they had blacks and they're running against each other with them hitting their heads together. They had marble shooting contests. They had a horseshoe pitching contest around the mansion. Anything that they had coon chases. Anything that would burn off the energy with black folk. They had wrestling contests because that was a form of entertainment. Blacks were entertaining whites. And then the other thing they'd do, they have let them sing. They'd have banjos or drums or beating on their lap, playing pot in their feet. They entertain whites. And what they told whites during slavery is that we are safe. We're not going to do anything to hurt you. All we want to do is entertain you. And so that stayed pretty true all the way up through most of slavery up until about 1852. In 1852, then they began to do things that began to institutionalize this inappropriate behavior pattern of black folk. It came out of his first book called Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's what Uncle Tom was about. To show blacks as being buffoons with Sambo and all that stuff in it. And that began. And so even after slavery, after the 1850s, black folk began to show up in programs like cotton clubs where they would entertain whites. Whites would flood in, and blacks were so good at it, they started doing blackface. Whites wanted to learn that. Before white folk could do blackface, black folks started doing it. A man could be as dark as night. These blacks would show up and put black paint on their faces to make caricatures out of themselves. They would paint their own lips red, get their eyes big and open and white, and put on oversized clothes, shoes that was too big. And now that you start getting people like Stetson Fletcher and Seppet Fletcher and a whole bunch of people that became what they call them Toms, Coons, and Mammies began to show up. Every movie that came up, every movie starting about the 1900s, they always stick a black mammy in there. A woman that could always be around, be in the house, and be over the black man. The black man would be be every week. black woman be dominating. Going with the Wind, all those old movies. Go watch those old movies. They always got a black mammy, and white folk love to get picked for a black man. They want a woman that's big and burly, and that's bossy, and is dominating the black man. So mammies became important starting by the early 1900s. All the movies would either have toms, coons, or mammies. And later on, they started getting, by 1920s, they had people like Stephen Fletcher, banjo, Bojangles, all this kind of thing. Anything that didn't turn whites. White folk then say entertaining black is a safe black. A dangerous black is when one start talking about money. So, that's why during the civil rights movement, blacks were making some progress in the civil rights movement until they started talking about reparations, getting some money. And then the Jews walked away from blacks by the late 1960s and said, hey, y'all start talking about something other than social. Social integration, we're through with you. They call those neoconservatives. But all whites love to see blacks, particularly if blacks going to exaggerate. If you're going to play the role of a mammy, a coon, or a buffoon, or a tom, or a sambo, they want you to exaggerate your features. If you're already dark skinned, that's okay. Put on more black, put on darker makeup, make your lips big and red. Get tattoos. If white folk got tattoos, you put tattoos. You got to be cartoon characters or caricature. That's what they after. They want it. So if this woman is doing what you're saying, she's going to be rewarded for that. Whites going to love that because it makes blacks look like fools. If whites wear baseball hats, blacks going to put theirs on backwards. If white man is wearing a shoe that's a size 9, a black's going to get him a shoe that's size 19. So his shoes gets way up in the air. They call them knobs and brogans. They always want blacks to be exaggeration. That's why you ask, why would a black man right now with dark skin be putting tattoos on his body with blue ink? Same thing as what why would that woman be walking around showing her butt? I bet she got tattoos all over her.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Well, you've by the way, I'm talking to Dr. Claud Anderson, everybody. So, and you guys know who he is. But actually, I want to dive in because I was taking notes as you were talking, and so I want so that everybody here, so we can all get something from this conversation. Let's go through some of what Dr. Anderson talked about. In terms of, the whole Lizzo discussion. And this is not anti-Lizzo. This is really talking about the system that rewards that behavior. Remember, Lizzo wasn't always doing these things. Lizzo started doing these things, and then white people started to love her. She actually changed her act through time to get more attention. And the attention came when she started filling the mammy role. So remember, the key words I picked up for you guys, if there's anybody here who's taking notes, is he was talking about safe blacks, entertainers with safe blacks. Also, give me a yes or no if you think any of these characteristics relate to Lizzo. He mentioned big and burly. Big and burly. Well, that's Lizzo's defining characteristic, that she is really big, 400 pounds. And the question becomes, would Lizzo be as famous as she is if she was not big? Maybe she's not 400 pounds. Maybe she's 280, 300, but she's not a tiny woman. And then also when he mentioned the part about bossy, was it bossy and dominating the black man? Did anybody hear any of Lizzo's lyrics where one of her most famous songs, it starts off saying something like, why are men great till they gotta be great, right? That basically, a lot of the songs are very pro-white feminist. Men ain't shit, like I'm dominating you in some way, right? So this whole big burly black woman, safe and friendly, smiling and dominating the black man, that's interesting. Now here's the thing too, some people think it's a gender thing, right? Some people think, Dr. Anderson, that we mention Lizzo because she's a woman, and because that's the first thing a white feminist is going to say. Oh, they're attacking a woman because black men are filled with toxic masculinity, they hate women, all this other nonsense. Well, two things I mentioned. Number one, if you followed our platform, you've seen where we have challenged many men. We had a big thing with Lil Wayne in 2013 or so, 2014, where we actually ended his endorsement deal with Mountain Dew because he had insulted Emmett Till in one of his songs. And Mountain Dew kills his endorsement deal. We were glad about that because you can't be disrespecting our icons. But then I want to show you another image. And Dr. Anderson, I want you to see this. And I want to get your take on what you think about this. This is an image of a rapper who is sitting there with a gun in his mouth, and he's wearing a wedding dress. And so this is a man wearing a wedding dress. And what this made, I thought about this image right here when you said just being outrageous, just in order to get attention, going above and beyond. And so you got a black man with a wedding dress with a white girl putting a gun in his mouth, right? And that just kind of spoke to what you were talking about in terms of just us, whatever they do. If the white man puts on a hat, the minstrel will put the hat on backwards. Or if they're wearing a size 6 shoe, we'll put on a size 12 because we want to be outrageous, we want to be crazy, etc. So just be clear, like the whole conversation about Lizzo is not just Lizzo, and it's not just women. It's about the whole minstrel show, about the white supremacy that generates that. Dr. Anderson, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, the biggest thing is, and that comes to a large degree because we don't have a code of conduct. In most out groups in the world, once they understand they're an out group, you know what I mean by an out group? They're not in the mainstream. An out group means a minority group or a group of people who've been singled out for either to be disparaged or enslaved or Jim Crow or subordinated. Those people, that's an out group. When Jews were an out group back in the 1500s, they learned one thing is that they tried to do social integration, but then they found out that they were disparaged and mistreated. They quit seeking social integration. Black people right now, they still want to have social integration, be acceptable to whites, and the best way to do it is to prove to white folk that we don't have a code of conduct in the black community, so I can do anything that's outrageous, as dumb and stupid as it is, and get away with it. Because no black person gonna hold us accountable, so we can get away with this kind of stuff. And but see, Jews have a very rigid code that they try to follow. That Jews not gonna let you disparage them, the religious group, in any respect. That's why they put out all these different movies about the Holocaust. That's why they build a museum in the United States. They don't put it over there, put it in the entertainment section of Washington, D.C. They put it next day to the United States but the Mint downtown in Washington, D.C., where the money is. Because that's where the Jews put their museum, right next door to the Mint in the United States. But black folk put theirs over there and let people clown, act a fool, and they'll laugh at themselves. That's why all the old movies, they're gonna have black folk always played very weak man. Yes, man, I'm gonna just zip on down the road. And I can't talk, and I just want to get along. And if I saw the ghost, I could feet don't fail me now. I got to run. All that stuff is entertaining. Whites think that's as funny because they says that those are safe Negroes. They ain't got enough damn sense to have enough pride, a code of conduct that would stop them from letting people disparage the entire race. And so until we get a code of conduct, and people who are, as I told you about the guy James Merritt who went to New York, did run against Adam Clayton Powell, who said, no, that's unacceptable. You can't do that. We're not going to accept it. Until the black people start standing up and said, no, you ain't going to come out here and show your ass, make us look like fools by exaggerating yourself. Always going to exaggerate yourself. Here you got a black woman that's as dark as night. She'll put on a red wig with blonde streaks down it, and the hair is coming out of China or India. She bought it from an Asian distributor for hair products. You can say that, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But she does it. And they get away with it because we don't have a code of conduct. And we didn't have, as all the way back through history, all the way back to slavery, never had a code of conduct to say we're not going to tolerate that. Certain kind of behavior is unacceptable. If you do that, we're going to excommunicate you out of the race. See, when you start telling that girl that you're talking about, I don't know her, so I'm not talking about her. But you see black folk doing that kind of behavior, somebody has to put the word on and say, look, you're going to get excommunicated out of the race, which means if we see you coming, we're going to cross the street. You come into the room, we're going to get up and leave. We do not want to be associated, affiliated with anybody who does negative things that create negative images for blacks. And when I was a kid, back, you asked me once about when I was coming up, they used to put big charts on the board. Whites always wanted black folk to have no bones in their nose, or to put rings on their necks to stretch their necks up, to exaggerate their necks. Exaggeration. You probably have seen those kind of things. But some African tribes would put rings when the baby is long, and they keep putting them as he goes, so his neck soon will be that long. They always have, at that time, they want to exaggerate their lips. They put duck pieces of wood. They'll split the bottom of the lips and put a piece of wood in so they have like a duck bill. You haven't seen that either, have you? And so that's exaggerate his lips, exaggerate his neck, exaggerate his face, put scars all over his face, anything you come up with. That was part of the culture that whites wanted black folk to always demonstrate that you're freaks, you're freakish people, and you're so stupid. We take you as a comedian act, but you're unacceptable to us unless you're comedy.
Wow, that's that was pretty heavy. How many of y'all, when you heard Dr. Anderson imitating the minstrel, when he's like, "Yes, the balls, I was just talking," like when he was talking like that, how many of y'all noticed the similarity between what he described and what you hear from a lot of the mumble rappers? You know, a lot of the rappers today that will mumble out their words. So ain't nothing new under the sun. That's the point that I'm picking up from this, you guys, is that ain't nothing new, ain't nothing changed. You know, a couple things have changed, but it's the same story with a different title on it. You know, and I mean, really, if you listen to mumble rappers, and I know Dr. Anderson, you're lucky because you don't have to listen to as much of this as a lot of us do. But unfortunately, that idea of dumbing down black people, especially the black man, is something that's very popular. And then when you talk about on the female side, you have the same type of thing going on with not just with Lizzo, but some of the most popular black women out here right now, Cardi B, Tiffany Haddish. They all pretty much have the same formula. They all are very similar to each other in terms of how they maintain their relevance. And I think it's important for black people to just know the difference, because white folks ain't gonna stop being white. They're gonna keep supporting what they support. But it's important for you to know the difference between what it truly means to be successful and what it means when you just continue the same old minstrel show. So anyway, I wanted to thank Margaret Hudson for your donation. Thank you, Margaret. Chi, I see you in there as well. Chi mentioned Mushmouth from Fat Albert. Yes, that maybe that's in there too. And I agree, we do need a code of conduct, Chi. And by the way, I want to give you guys Dr. Anderson's website. And Dr. Anderson's not feeling that great. He has just blessed us and graced us with his presence. And so I'm going to go ahead and end the conversation a little bit short so that he can get back to resting and things like that. But before we go, though, I want you all to please type in powernomics.com into the chat, powernomics.com, so that everybody can know the website. It's Christmas time, or Christmas just passed, but the New Year's coming. A great way to start the new year is to start off with Black Economic Power. Powernomics.com has plenty of books and a library pack you can subscribe to Dr. Anderson's YouTube channel, which is very, very good. And also his Breakfast Club interview is extremely good. And again, you all played a part in making Black history, because I know for a fact Charlemagne the God follows what's going on this platform. And I want to publicly thank Charlemagne for using his broad national platform to bring Black intelligence and Black consciousness to the forefront of the discussion. So we are making Black history. We're changing the world, because Black folks are smart enough where when you can feed them a lie for a long time, they can live off the lie. But when you give them an ounce of the truth, millions of people will grab onto the truth before they hold on to the same old lie. So I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Anderson, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. You're always very kind to provide this opportunity for me to talk to some of your people and your supporters. And again, as I said to you, my books are written for a very specific reason. It's because nobody would ever write and tell the truth about Black folk. We had a few books, Blacks that were successful in doing that. Carter G. Woodson and W. Du Bois put out a couple of books and a few others. But white folk would never put Blacks in their books. First time you have started putting Blacks in their books about 1948. Nobody would write anything positive about Blacks. But I wrote my books very specifically for Black folk, And I tried to put it in a vertical order, saying here, with black labor being the first thing, here is where you are. Here's how you got there. Okay? And here's every technique, every trick, every custom, every law, everything the whites did to maldistribute 100% of everything out of your presence, where you're down at a non-competitive level, period. You don't have enough resources to compete in anything. Then I wrote power numbers to say, now, but white racism is not perfect. It can be beaten if you understand the system. And I wrote all these things based on my collective experiences. I felt that I've been blessed to have done some things in every level of politics and economics and everything, in educational achievement that 99% of blacks will never have the opportunity to do. So therefore, I felt a binding responsibility to try to help blacks. Now, the blacks don't want to buy those books, those 5 books called the Library Pack. They don't have to buy them. Don't do it because I'm telling them to buy them. But right now, nobody else is going to give them that kind of information. And white folk tend to be homicidal and not suicidal. They got to tell blacks what to do. But those books carry every piece of information that you need to know about race matters and how to resolve and how to beat it. But if you think that you're doing it to help me because I'm only on your show to sell books, that's not my goal. At my age, 85, I could care less. I got most of the things I want out of the world. I've been everywhere, I've done everything, enjoyed things around the world. I've been with presidents and governors. I've the head of trade missions to third world nations around the world. I've done all the things I want to do. I achieved that by striving with about a drive to do it, to get there, and to keep the door open so that all the other blacks could follow me in. And I turned down meritorious manumission with whites asked me on 2 big occasions. Said, Dr. Anderson, we'll give you everything you want. You quit talking about race matters and come over and join us, and be sort of mealy mouth person. That's basically what it was. I told him I'm going to do that. So therefore, any black person you see on TV nowadays, he's on there more than once. He's strutting search for meritorious manumission and to be compensated and rewarded by the white power structure. They never rewarded me, never give me a penny. I left government, but I achieved the highest levels of everything I ever wanted because of my drive to open doors for black folk. And I've been black to the bone all my life. I'm going to say like that. And I enjoy black folk and I love black folk. And if you see the Breakfast Club interview, you'll understand what I'm saying. And we're going to play as a team. We can beat racism if we also play the game and understand the nature of racism.
All right. So everybody, if you could, please join me in giving Dr. Claud Anderson a digital round of applause and a big digital thank you for coming into the chat. Please give him a round of applause. Just clap for him in the chat. Just just give a sincere thanks to the person that's really sharing a perspective that you don't get at any university. You don't get it in any public school for sure, because they're not going to teach you the keys to your liberation. You got to learn that on your own. So also, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button before you go, please do that. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe, notification bell, all this other stuff. Also, last but not least, Powernomics.com is Dr. Claud Anderson's website. That's where his books are. And also, if you want to support the growth of this platform, you can do so at intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So take care. And thanks a lot, Dr. Anderson.
One more thing you asked me, I forgot to tell you. When you asked about the Breakfast Club, both Charlamagne and
Envy.
DJ, they both say, "Hey, we're with you 100%," and we're gonna. And they said this on and said we're gonna push these books across the country, and you can depend on us to make sure that we say black folk better start reading these things and get an understanding. And I appreciate that from them. They were 2 nice guys. And if you talk to any of them, tell them they were successful, because when that interview hit the media about a day and a half ago, we were up to 500,000 views already in less than 48 hours.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons why I was really happy when Charlamagne asked me about getting you on the Breakfast Club, because I felt like it was a dream come true for me. I've been on there a few times myself, and every time, there's a lot of viewership, but I didn't really care so much about myself going back on there. I wanted them to hear from people like yourself, so So I was very happy. I was very, very happy. And so like you say in Powernomics, power is the ability to move forward with your agenda despite the opposition of others. And so I'm not really worried about anybody who has anything negative to say about what you're doing. I don't care because they can't stop that. You can't stop Black Power when it's on when it's coming at you. You can't stop it. So thank you for doing that, Dr. Anderson, and I look forward to seeing you next week, my friend.
Okay, thank you, buddy. And have a rest of the holiday. I guess between now and when is New Year's now? Is that next week?
Let me see. I think it's next. The 31st is Tuesday, and the 1st is a Wednesday. So that's next week.
Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, enjoy this sojourn between the two, okay?
Yes, sir.
Enjoy life, and I look to see you next week.
All right, my friend. See you soon. All right. You guys take care. Have a great day, and we love every one of you. I'll see you soon.
And catch up that woman you talk about, Miss Cece, whatever her name is.
Oh, are you talking about Lizzo?
Yeah.
The big girl. You gotta go watch a couple of her videos. You'll get a kick out of it. All right. See you soon. All right. Bye bye now.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Bye bye.